I'm Diane Fisher, and together with Steve Herrera, we've been running the Teen Interfaith Leadership Council trips to New Mexico for 5 years now. And each year, I am more inspired than the last to continue this program, which has just brought tremendous relationship building across faiths for teens and also for the adults that they interact with. I think of Rabbi Jonathan Sacks' book called The Dignity of Difference, and how this trip really brings out that feeling in real life. We are learning about each other's faiths, but more so just understanding appreciation and the true dignity that each faith brings to our culture and our lives. And I'm grateful to the students who go on this trip and make a real difference in our world.
I was born into a Catholic family in which I have gone to Catholic school all my life. And unfortunately, for most of my life, the only exposure to other religions I had were stereotypes and fear. Like, all these stereotypes about Muslims and Jews, and I was like indirectly taught to hate them. But coming on this trip, I learned more about who those people really are and why they worship who they worship and what the religion is all about. And it helped me come to realize that all these different religions, even ones I never even heard of, were on the same path to peace. Kind of like my t-shirt, Infinite Paths to Peace. Like, we all have different ways of doing it. We all have our different paths, but in the end, we're all fighting for world peace, and that's why social justice, I'm so passionate about social justice, because I want to make a change in the world. And whether that change, like my motivation to make a change is inspired by God, or my family, or my friends, it doesn't matter, because everybody's striving for that change. And we should respect why everybody does what they do and who they believe in. Because there's so many wars based off religion. And I just think it's crazy because we're all fighting for peace.
So I've been on other service trips before that weren't like religiously affiliated. And I think that this New Mexico immersion trip has definitely helped me grow the most as a person. And this is because talking about religion is something incredibly personal, and you go really deep into who you are and why you're here. And being able to hear from so many different perspectives of so many different religions, it's really helped me learn and grow as a person and deepen my understanding and beliefs in a way that I learned a lot about Buddhism. And I'm a Shinyo-en Buddhist practitioner, so because I learned so much about it, there are a lot of questions that I never really asked before, and they were answered in this trip. So, like, what is Buddhism? Like, what is the core of Buddhism? I was able to learn and understand that, and it definitely reinforced how much I believe and in this teaching. And in the future, I'm definitely planning on practicing more, going to temple more, and definitely like self-reflecting and looking into myself to make sure that I can get the most out of coming to this trip.
This trip was really eye-opening for me because I was exposed to so many different religions, and I learned more about my own religion and a lot about life outside San Jose, where I live. So, like, when we went to the Hindu ashram, I was exposed to an atmosphere that I never experienced before back at home.
I was born into Shinyo-en Buddhism as a child, and I wasn't as dedicated to the religion as my parents wanted me to be. And so my parents encouraged me to go onto this New Mexico interfaith immersion trip. And I wasn't that pumped about it, but I decided to go anyway. And throughout this trip, I've seen so many people dedicated to so many different faiths, and I realized that I wanted that for myself. And I know that Shinyo-en Buddhism is what really resonates within me, and I've learned to dedicate myself more to this religion. So, yeah.
Everyone had like a completely different kind of idea of their religion. There were some I've never heard of, and there were some common ones I've heard, but they're all like they seem like a really deep part in their lives. And just the experiences I've witnessed and experienced in this trip has been inspiring.
My name is Anat, and I'm Jewish. And one thing that I've learned in this trip is that all religions pretty much have one goal, and that is to reach peace within themselves or in the world. And even though we have a lot of conflict in this world because of religion, I believe that maybe if we all find out the true meaning of all religion, that is to reach peace. I find that really fascinating how all religions are so different and yet so similar when it comes to these values.
I'm Shania, and I'm from the Zoroastrian religion. I think that one of the biggest things I gained from this trip, besides the relationships and the amazing experiences, was this trip really helped me find and discover a purpose for my religion and like why I do the things that I do and why people value religion. So I realized that like for my entire life since I was born into Zoroastrianism, I've been practicing the religion just because I was supposed to practice it, and I never really knew why. But after hearing and experiencing the Native Americans' religious lifestyle and like hearing Anat talk about like the Shabbat and like being able to pray at the Hindu temple, I discovered and I realized that like I practice my religion because of the comfort it gives me throughout my life. So thank you for giving me hope for this world and showing me that somehow through infinite paths we will find peace in this world.
My name is Nami. I'm from the Shinyoen teaching. Being born into the teaching, I was just naturally like going to temple with my parents and like just sitting there like attending the service. But recently I've wanted to learn like about the core and the history of my teaching and of like why I chant this line, or like why we sit like this, or why we go to these events with these people like wearing certain things. And this trip has made me want to learn more and to practice more. And I've realized how much I love practicing Shinyoen. This trip has made me realize how much I love to share it with other people, and I hope I can go back and share this experience with my other junior YA, and everyone that's
Now I'm gonna put